Welcome to the 193rd episode of the Video Games podcast, where we talk about any game at all, including new stuff, old stuff, and anything in between. If we're playing it, we will be talking about it. Today we are recording on August 13th, 2020. My name is Brad Galloway. I am the editor of GameCritics.com, and 50% of this here show with me is the guy who's wearing the latest in virus-free mask fashion, Carlos Rodella.
What's up? Yeah, I am actually. How did you know?
I could see you through your window. I am recording outside your house.
That's right. You're always here.
I'm always over your shoulder, looking over, seeing what you're doing.
It's a little creepy, and I gotta say, maybe just hold off for a little bit, or give me some downtime, because I feel a little self-conscious.
Well, we used to record in the same room all the time back when we were doing a video game break, and, that was pretty cool and comfortable. Definitely a different vibe than how we record in separate studios now, and on top of that, we've got the social distancing. So I wanted to recapture some of that, in the same room, buddy feeling. So, you be inside your house, I'll be outside your window looking in through your curtains that you thought you closed, but you didn't. And it's almost like we're recording in the same room.
It's almost. Also, I'm on the top floor, so I don't know how you're doing it.
I got one of those little, rappelling things where I sit in that little, leather straps, and I got a rope hooked up to the roof. It's kind of uncomfortable, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, worth it for somebody. But no, I do actually have a lot of masks now. I buy a ton off Etsy. I buy a bunch on Amazon. Recently, I went to Metropolitan Market, and they had some really great ones that I should go get this. Before the end of the episode, I'll mention the name of the company. But it's a really cool company where they're having a bunch of people make these masks, and then they're giving back money to the community. It's a really cool cause, so I'll find the name of it before the end of the podcast. But yeah, I have a lot of them, and I kind of am into them.
Think about the world we live in right now, where we are talking about actually mask fashion. You got cool, stylish masks. I'm about to go online and going to get some import masks. I saw some cool ones that were being made, in Venezuela or something, that were going to be... They were co-op or profit sharing or some shit.
That's the newest one I got. Yeah, something like
that. Yeah. How are we even talking about this in the real world, dude? We live in such fucking strange times. My wife was on Twitter yesterday, and she's like, "We are living in such crazy times. Somebody could literally get on Twitter and say, 'Oh my God, trees are coming to life and eating people,' and we'd be like, uh-huh." Yeah. We just wouldn't even blink twice at it, man. Our world has gone fucking sideways.
I will say this, though, and I agree, but also right before this happened, I literally was, I visited Japan, and I love Japanese culture, and I love, Japan in general, Tokyo. And while I was there, a ton of people in other parts of the country and also in Japan wear masks a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Not just for... to keep themselves, safe and keep others safe for sickness, but also just for A, fashion, and B, to kind of just be kept alone. It feels like you kind of make yourself a little, you don't want to be part of the world right now. You don't want to show your face. So it's actually a thing they do where they can actually feel guarded, right?
Sure.
By putting a mask on. And right before this happened, I was like, I want to do that here, not just for sickness, but I really was interested in not putting up a barrier a little bit. And so guess what? Now
wish granted, buddy. That monkey's paw, that little finger curled up in the monkey's paw, your wish has been granted, my friend. I mean, okay. It came with lethal virus for the entire world, but you can do the mask.
Let's not say that was my wish. Come on. This is not anybody's wish. Okay, never mind.
All right, enough of this bullshit. We usually have a fat-free show. We're getting a little fatty today. Let's trim that fat. Let's get right to what we're here for before we jump into games. And we have a lot of games today, folks. First, housekeeping. Carlos, you have a couple things on deck.
Yes, this one I'll try to reduce the vitriol, but it is a lot of vitriol. Essentially, recently, and this is timely. And what are we, if nothing but timely, this podcast?
We try. We definitely try.
I think that was a joke.
Oh, man. Now I feel bad. Jeez.
Yeah. 1980 Fortnite. So basically, Fortnite decided that people can buy their in-game currency in the game, and they don't have to go through Apple or Google stores for the app version. And Apple got really mad, and they pulled them from the store. So then Fortnite put up a video that essentially replicates the Apple ad that was talking about essentially Apple going against Windows being the big behemoth. And they were actually going off of 1984. So basically a dystopian type commercial Apple put out to go against Windows and say, hey, we're the new company. We're going to go against this old behemoth. So Fortnite decided to recreate that commercial in their game and say, hey, we're going against the man because they won't let us do our V-Bucks, which is totally not the same fucking thing. But I got mad on Twitter because a bunch of people were just talking about how, like, wow, it's really cool they're doing this with this ad. It's really neat. But I'm like, no, it's fucking dumb. This is the worst time to joke about a dystopian future. It's fucking happening. And I know you can understand that because we both talk about everything being on fire all the time.
It's our daily fucking life, dude.
So I just think it's a fucking misstep to go, hey, yeah, we're going to make fun of this little foible that happened where, they took us off the App Store with a 1984 reference in the middle of 1980 fucking 4.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think so. I mean, there's like a lot of issues here, but I think the usage of that, like that visual style, that iconography, the reference back to 1984, the book, like kind of in shitty fucking taste. I mean, like you said, we are in the middle of that exact situation on multiple levels, screaming headlong onto a greased roller coaster into dystopia for real.
For real.
And then here's this thing where, I'm sorry, but like Epic is not a small company. Those guys are like a multi-billion-dollar company. Apple is not a small company. Those are, one of the biggest companies on earth. And they're squabbling over, I don't know, however many billions of dollars the Fortnite money comes out to. And they're going to try to, I think it's kind of shitty that Epic is trying to, I don't know, like motivate their player base to rise up and strike back against Apple. But like Epic is also like this giant fucking company. So they're like using their player base as pawns in the middle of a real world where Russia and Fox News and all these other competing media sources and social media sources are trying to do the exact same thing with the populace in order to, influence the American democracy situation
that's
and the election. It's fucking, it's in really poor taste, dude. I do not think it's cool at all. So yes, I agree.
Let me give some backstory though, because a lot of people listening might not know. But 1984 dystopian novel by George Orwell. You've probably heard about it, but you might have not read it, and that's fine. But here's the tagline for the book, okay? And this is why it's like in poor taste, in my opinion, to use it right now. 1984 centers on the consequences of government overreach, mass surveillance, and repressive regimentation of all persons and behaviors within society. More broadly, it examines the role of truth and facts within politics and their manipulation, which is all the stuff that's happening.
Literally every single one of those things in 1984 is happening to us in real life right now. And George Orwell, who wrote that, I mean, super visionary. I've read the book. Have you read the book, Carlos?
Oh, of course, yeah. I took an elective in high school and read all the dystopian novels, including Brave New World, 1984, and Fahrenheit 451.
Yeah, that must have been a really fun couple weeks for you. Hopefully you pulled yourself out of that depression.
More like semester, and it like changed my life. But yeah,
I mean, anybody listening to this podcast, I strongly recommend you read 1984. It's a quick read. It's only like, I want to say it's like not even 200 pages. Like, it's pretty fast read. And it directly applies to everything that's going on in real life right now. Orwell totally called all of the shit that people are... It's almost like the Republicans read 1984 and they're like, oh man, this guy's got some good ideas. Except for taking the side of the protagonist, they took the side of the evildoers. And they're like, yeah, we're following the evildoer playbook. Yeah. Like literally all down the line. So read that.
Doublethink, all the stuff that you read about, or all the stuff that you basically are seeing on Facebook, a lot of that stuff. He also wrote that in 1948, so it was like quite a while ago. Yeah. I would also recommend Fahrenheit 451, and Brave New World also has a series right now on Peacock, which is a NBC, I guess.
Oh God, I can't even keep up with all the different streaming services.
I know, but it's
days.
Really good though. So Brave New World, the series is very good. They're really, really close to the book.
The book was really good too.
Yeah. Anyways, the point of this story is, yes, you big two companies are like you said, using the regular people to fight some sort of war, but in the worst possible time. And also, even if you do this little fucking war, just don't use 1984. It's like so on the fucking nose.
Yeah. I mean, so absolutely, yes. I think we're in agreement all the way down the line on this. But as far as like what Epic is doing with Fortnite, I mean, do you have an opinion on like, were they correct in pulling out, or was Apple correct in shutting them down? Like, do you have an opinion? I have an opinion, but like, I'm curious to see what you think about this whole thing.
Yeah, if you're going off, my whole vitriol and anger is over the use of this thing because it's just poor timing. Right. If you're actually looking at the business model of it, Epic doesn't need either of those companies, so there's no reason why they should have to go through a paywall or an extra like step and get a 30% cut. So I'm with Epic on that side of it. Why don't you just sell your currency in the game? And also, 8,000 games do that, right? Like 1 million games on console do that. You just pay for whatever bucks are in the game. So I guess I don't see why Apple or Google ever need any of that cut. So I guess I'm on Epic side of that.
Interesting. I think I come in on the other side of it, although I don't really have any great love for either one of those companies. I mean, and of course, not a business lawyer. I'm not privy to the contracts or anything, but it seems to me that if Fortnite agreed to Apple's cut of 30%, which I think everybody has to agree to if they want to be on the Apple Store. I mean, whether that's too much or not is a different argument, but if they agreed to it and then all of a sudden they're like, we don't want to pay this anymore, fuck Apple, and then they all of a sudden go back on their agreement, well, I think that's kind of dirty business. I mean, if you don't like that agreement, either don't sign it in the first place or maybe renegotiate something else, but if the truth is they agreed to it and then later reneged on that agreement, then I think that maybe Apple is correct.
Right.
But either way, it's two real big dogs trying to get little dogs to fight their fight for
them.
And
either way, I don't give a fuck. Like, that's really what it comes down to. And also, it's just ridiculous that now it's like, it's like a thing. Like 1984 has been reduced. This is my biggest problem. 1984. It's a
meme now. It's a meme.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say, Brett Galloway.
Yes, I agree.
Like you can't do that. You can't do that right now. It's like the most important time.
I agree. Okay, so just tangent, really quick tangent. I used to play Fortnite a lot, like almost every night, and my regular Fortnite partner and I just we haven't played it in a long time, so I kind of fell out of it. But one thing that people maybe don't know is that in the regular main game of Fortnite, all of the character models are basically the same body size. All the people are, the guys are pretty muscular, the women are pretty trim. And if you go to the original Fortnite, before it was PvP, when it was PvE, I mean, I bet a lot of people have never played that part of it, possibly. But in that mode, you had like a lot wider variety of body sizes. And originally, when I first reviewed that game a long time ago, I gave them props because a lot of the women were like plus size, kind of showing a different diversity. Not everybody has to be like a size 0, right? Mm-hmm. But they never brought those character models into the PvP, which I always thought was sucky because I really had a lot of favorite characters from the PvE mode. And I just now found out like 5 minutes ago, I think today is the first day they have brought some of those plus size body shapes into PvP. So if you missed those characters, if you even knew about those characters, or if you're interested in seeing a little bit more physical diversity in Fortnite, not saying that they're breaking down walls and, fighting for equality or anything, but, I had fond memories of having some of those characters in PvE, and I'm going to go into PvP again and check it out, maybe buy that skin just for old time's sake, and just a heads up that it's in there now.
Yeah, that's cool of them.
All right, so that's enough of Fortnite. Let's talk about something else. You had one more thing for housekeeping, did you not?
Yeah, just the fact that I'm really excited. I think it comes out tonight. I'm hoping 9 p.m. If not, it comes out tomorrow on the 14th. But Dying Light, a game that we both love.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like we've talked about on the show, I think before, if not, it's quite amazing. It has a DLC coming out, Hell Raid. I believe it's out right now as of this recording for PC. It's coming out on console, like I said, on the 14th. And essentially, it's an RPG version of Dying Light. And how they get away with that is that your character goes and plays an arcade game. And they're playing an RPG arcade game. And then it goes into that world. I love what it looks like. I've been really excited for it. I saw the coverage a while ago. It looks like Skyrim. And why wouldn't I want more Skyrim, essentially, with the Dying Light engine, with the parkour stuff and the melee weapons? That sounds great to me. So I'm very excited. I will play it, and I don't know if I don't think it's free. I'm guessing it's a paid DLC. And
it is paid, yeah.
It is paid, yeah. And my only problem is what I just said is the setup of it. I don't know why I would think it would be anything different because there's obviously monsters and swords, but it does take me out of the whole game because it's not real, right?
I mean, I guess it's funny that you knew that because we got a code for this, and Dan Weissenberger, one of our writers, is going to be covering it, and he jumped into the game and he's like, where the hell is the content? Like, he thought it was going to be like a tab on the main menu and it wasn't there. And then he was checking into the little DLCs and it wasn't there. And he's like, I have no fucking idea where this thing is. And yeah, like just like you said, PR did not bother to share with us that apparently in your home base called the Tower, like at some point, one of the rooms opens up or like something that like an arcade machine pops in that wasn't there before. And then you jump on that thing and that's how you get to the new content.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't played it. I don't know myself, but it seems like just a weird way to get a player into that. They could have very easily just put that as a mode from the main menu, and I don't think anybody would really fucking care that they're just going into a new mode, you know?
Yeah.
So it's weird they would hide it like that. I find that kind of annoying, personally.
Yeah, and also because in that DLC, because I went back to Dying Light because of this, you know, I loaded it back up, and I saw that I had played the following and forgot that I had played that, which was a very long and expansive DLC.
Yeah. Terrible DLC.
You didn't like it. It was a cult one.
No, I loved the main game of Dying Light. I thought the following was hot garbage. They fucked that up so bad.
Oh, I think we did talk about that. Yeah, I thought it was just okay. It felt like Far Cry in a way, but it didn't feel like the original game. So anyways, in that menu of Dying Light, there's like a zombie mode.
Be the zombie.
Right? So why wouldn't this just be there?
Exactly. Like why? It's just if you're making me pay for something, and I haven't paid for it yet, but if you're making me pay for something, just let me fucking access it. Don't make me jump through hoops and like do all sorts of weird stuff. Don't bury it in your game. Just put it on the menu. Who cares? No one cares.
That's a tangent, by the way. Like at some point we could bring that up. As so much DLC does that, where you go. I literally have to go to Google and go
and figure out where the fuck it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like how do I start the DLC? That's a developer problem. Come on.
Get off of it, man. Just start the fucking DLC. Okay.
Anyway,
so Hellraid's a thing.
Even though it's an arcade game, and I'm like frustrated that like I like believing that things could be real to the character, and I'm like, I don't know, he wouldn't go inside a video game. I'm still gonna play the shit out of it because it's like a Skyrim, and with the engine that I like. So yeah, when it comes out, I'll play it and I'll tell you about it. I'm sure you have the review going up, sometime soon.
I gotta find out if Dan was able to access it. Gotta check back and see if he fucking found it. But yeah, it's coming out. It should be, by the time you guys are listening to this, it should be available. It is a paid DLC. It's on all the platforms. You must have the base game of Dying Light in order to play it. It is not a standalone. PR tells me it's between 2 to 3 hours long, but there's also more add-ons to that DLC that's coming. And also, just as a side note, this Hellraid content was actually supposed to be its own standalone game. The Dying Light team was working on this as its own thing, and then it got canceled. It hit production troubles for some reason, and then on top of that, COVID-19 happened, and it was just too many things. So the team scrapped the full game. It is no longer going to be a full game, but I'm glad that they were able to salvage it, and we can still get a flavor for what it was supposed to be. So we'll have at least, it sounds like maybe 5-6 hours worth of Hellraid, which is better than 0, because I'm happy for any excuse to go back into that gameplay. They really nailed Dying Light. I thought it was great. So looking forward to trying that. I'll probably pick it up tonight or tomorrow, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's interesting to know that backstory about it, because it does feel like they were going for a whole other style.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Cool. That's it.
All right. There we go. All right, enough of housekeeping. Folks, we got a bunch of games. We're going to just go right into it. Heads up, the first couple things we're going to do is just a series of quick hits. Carlos had played a lot of stuff. I had played a lot of stuff, and none of it was really super, super deep enough to have its own segment, so we decided we're just going to ping pong back and forth for the first, I want to say like 8 games or so, because we play a lot of fucking games on the show, and then we'll get into slightly more deep coverage of the last couple of titles. But let's kick it off, ping pong back and forth, a bunch of quick hits. Carlos, let's start with you, and as per your old tradition of starting off the show with a weird and or unusual game, sometimes free, sometimes not, what is this first mystery game that I have no idea what it is? What's the first game we're going to talk about?
Oh boy, this one is weird, and as soon as I start explaining it to you, you're going to be like, what? But what? And that's what I said. A little backstory about this game is I remember going through the PlayStation Store, and I am like obsessed with new games, and I always am looking for something that will scratch that itch. And a long time ago, I went real deep into the catalog. I mean, real deep, and I was pretty far in the past when it comes to like.
Do you mean like you went to the very beginning, like? Did you alphabetize everything and go to like A and then just work your way through it?
No, just by release date, but I'm going back.
Oh, okay.
All the way
okay, yeah, same idea. Gotcha.
So I'm deep in there, and at some point, I don't know, months ago, I found something. I go, what the fuck is that? That doesn't make any sense to me. I'll have to come back to that. Didn't write the name down. So now I go back, and I'm like, I gotta find this game. This game doesn't make any sense to me. I remember I thought it was so weird. Let me find it. So it took me about 40 minutes Because you know how like some of the covers you can't tell, like the
Right.
the artwork. So I'm going into tons of descriptions and screenshots. I finally find it. I just immediately purchase it. I got problems. I've talked about it on this podcast before. I've got addiction problems of some sort when it comes to games because I don't even look at money. And this game was expensive.
Uh-oh. What is it?
$60.
Oh, shit, dude. That's a lot for a gamble.
And I went, yep, because it's weird as fuck and I got to do it.
Oh, my God.
So here it is. I'm still playing it, so that's the
All
good
right.
news.
You're keeping me suspense, dude. I'm on the edge of my seat here.
The game is called Zanki Zero Last Beginning.
Oh, dude. I know this. I know this game.
You know of this game.
I know of this. I have not played it, but I know what this game is. Yes. Go ahead. Tell us about it.
Essentially, it's a first-person dungeon crawler with that grid-based movement that is all the rage these days. As in, like, it's pretty fucking clunky, and you have to, like, be into grid-based, dungeon crawlers.
It is an acquired taste.
It is. But if the story's interesting enough and the combat is, like, addictive enough, it can be really fun. What's interesting, though, is they let you move the camera around with your right analog stick, yet you still have to move in those grid-based movement. So it's really kind of weird that way, because you're like, why can't I just move anywhere then? So what the game is, it starts with a character who sadly is committing suicide and decides to jump off a bridge. And when he lands in the car, instead of dying, he ends up on this island. It's called Garage Island. And he realizes that a bunch of other people have also arrived in this island, kind of AKA lost. And they don't know what happened, but they know that they were supposed to find him, so that his name was known, and you are that main character. And you go to a garage in Garage Island, and you kind of meet all the people that are there, which is only like 7 or people or so are there on the island. And it's kind of a dilapidated island, supposedly kind of post-apocalyptic, and it's a sunny island, out, etc. And you're like, what the fuck's happening? So here's the things you learn, and then I'll tell you about the gameplay. You learn that all of a sudden you and all the other survivors have a X in your belly button. It's a metallic X, and you don't know why. But for some reason, it grants you powers. Secondly, if that's not weird enough, you find an old television that's not plugged in. The television has cartoons on it that talk to you and know who you are and give you missions. And one of them is a sheep person.
You say a sheep?
Yeah, I sure did.
Okay. Just make sure I'm with you here.
Are you with me so far?
I'm still with you, but barely, but keep going.
Okay. They decide that you need to do missions on this place, wherever you are, and, survive. And they're trying to help you. One of their first missions is you have to create a toilet. Because in this game, it's also survival.
Because of course you do.
Because of course reasons. And because you potentially could, you have these, a bladder meter and a food meter. And you have these survival mechanics, right?
Okay.
Couple more things, then we'll get to the gameplay.
First, this is first person, right? Is it first person?
First person.
Okay.
Grid-based. The cartoon character also, while talking about the toilet, pees himself. I bring this up just because it's wildly out of place and made me feel very uncomfortable. Okay, so then after the cartoon show's over, which, by the way, is demonic because the TV isn't turned on or plugged in at all, you go about the world and can fight things. And for some reason, most of the things you fight in the beginning of the game are goats. And you can kill them and get food. You can collect items to upgrade your weapons, which essentially is in the beginning just a stick.
Is the combat menu based? Does it look like Dragon Quest thing where you just swipe, or is you what does it look like when you're fighting?
Yeah, it's like first person dungeon crawler fighting, right?
Okay,
so you
gotcha.
just swing something and you can see it like an attack motion.
Okay, gotcha.
And then thing gets hit and then you get things. But what's interesting is later on there are actual dungeons. I looked ahead, and there are actual monsters, and so it really is a dungeon crawler at some point. In the beginning, it's just more like you're fighting whatever on, the island.
Island creatures, sure.
Yeah. And then it's super also sexualized and weird as fuck and kind of a dating sim.
Really? Okay, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, there's a bigger lady, talking about proportions and stuff. She's not your type 0 or whatever it is, like, size 0 lady
Right,
that normal is
right.
an anime. She's like, a regular lady, and she's funny, and she's heir to some throne of something. And then there's a bunch of other types of people, and then I guess they all have different quarters. So essentially, if you assign certain people to certain quarters, they might like hook up, and if they hook up, they get bonuses. That's it. Like, I don't need to even say more. It's weird as fuck. It's kind of addictive. Also, all the icons in the game are 8-bit. Like, all, like, food icons and swords and stuff. It looks like a Nintendo game or a Super Nintendo game. Which is really out of place. So the whole game makes me feel almost uncomfortable. And I don't like that I have to, like, worry about water and peeing and food. And all the characters say things that are, like, borderline wrong, kind of. Like, sexually uncomfortable.
Right.
This game is fucking weird, and I'm still playing it.
Well, it's interesting that you brought this up, because I remember when this came out a while ago, and I almost bought it back when it was new, because it came from Spike Chunsoft, and that was right when I was still high on my Danganronpa kick.
Oh, right.
One of my favorite anime or visual novel games. I love Danganronpa very much. And I was like still in the mood for something like that, and this came out, and I knew it wasn't from the same developer, but from the same publisher. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll check it out. But reviews and impressions from people that I trusted were kind of mixed on this, so I never got into it. But I guess, how difficult are you finding it? Like, is the survival stuff, like your food and water meter, like, is it really oppressive, or do you find like it's not that big a deal?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because you can, in the beginning, pick kind of casual, normal, or hard.
Okay.
And I think it even lets you know what those meters will change to. Like you won't have to worry about food as much or whatever on casual. So I put it on normal, and I think you can switch it at any time. So I can like bump it down to casual. So far, I haven't had a problem with it. Like, I have enough water. I'm not really thinking about it. I'm glad I'm not thinking about peeing, because that just like bothers me like on a regular level.
I mean, why can you not pee just anywhere? Is because you
that's
you
what
said
the
you had to
main
make a
that's
toilet.
what the
Is there
characters
a reason
said.
why you can't just
I
go?
know. Literally, I got there, and one of the characters goes, "Why don't we just pee anywhere?" And I was like, "I'm with him."
I mean, you're just on like Goat Island. Who cares? The goats aren't going to say anything. Like, why do you need to make a toilet? That's kind of
It's
weird.
Garage Island, but yeah, there are goats too. Yeah, I don't know why. It seems silly, but what it is really doing though, this just has a base building element too. So this game is fucking weird.
Jesus, a base building.
It's got survival, base
Is there
building, crafting a little bit, upgrading, and art dungeon crawler RPG, and anime visual novel.
Well, let me ask you this then, because this sounds weird enough to get me interested, but I guess, like, in terms of like ratio, is it like 90% dungeon crawl and 10% dating sim, or is it like half and half, or like how do you feel like it breaks down so far?
I haven't played it enough, but I would say it's like 60-40, 70-30, 60-40 on dungeon crawl, the first one, and visual novel dating stuff, the second one, because it's a lot of dialogue. And that's really the main reason I'm still playing it, because I need to know what's happening, because the characters on the island think that they're in a game show and that they were all like taken and put in this game show. But I'm like, how the fuck did a game show put a metal X in my belly button? I think it's some sort of like supernatural demonic shit going on. So I need to know what's happening, because it is fucking kind of scary, this game.
Well, it does sound weird enough to be my shit, but $60 is pretty steep for something that I'm not sold on.
Yeah, and it came out so long ago. It should be $30.
Yeah, $20-$30. I'd be like, okay, cool, but maybe I'll check it out on GameFly or something like that. We'll see. Okay, so that's Zanki Zero. Definitely keep playing that.
I will. I need to tell you the ending, because I feel like it's going to be a fucking weird as fuck ending, so that's why I'm going to play it.
That wouldn't surprise me, because the Danganronpa games are somewhat similar to this, and they go crazy left field when you get to the end of those games too. So it would not surprise me at all. But keep me posted. I'm not going to buy it yet. I'm not going to drop $1, but if it sounds like you're having fun, maybe I'll jump into. We'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Next game you are bringing to the table, Immortal Unchained. I have played this before briefly. It is a Souls-like third-person action game, and I believe this is the Souls-like where they focus more on guns than melee. Is that correct?
Yeah. Quick hits. I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but I was doing like I do, going through the PS4 store, buying everything because I have problems.
What caught your eye about this one? Because you're not generally a Souls guy.
Right, but here's the thing, Brad Galloway. I'll tell you how this happened.
Tell me, Carlos Rodella.
I love like a Mass Effect-y. We were talking about that last episode.
We were.
I like a sci-fi with a little bit of magic and a little bit of weird, a little bit of alien, a little bit of, Gears of War. That's what that looked like. And I was like, okay, this is an interesting game.
Okay.
I had no idea that it had anything to do with like a Souls-like game.
Okay.
So
They gotcha.
Yeah, I was not in a good headspace when I found this out after already dropping the money on it, which was like 30 bones.
Okay, all right.
It has a great setup. You're this big, beefy character. You can pick a lot of different stats. It feels like it's going to be kind of an adventure game, an action shooter game where you can upgrade your shit, which you can, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be a Souls-like. It doesn't introduce itself that way. By the way, it doesn't sell itself like that on the page, the detail page. It doesn't say that really in any way on the video. It just says, hey, this really weird world where you can do melee that looks awesome and shoot like really cool sci-fi enemies. Come play this game. So I had no idea. So in the beginning, it's kind of easy. And so I also didn't know because I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. I'm upgrading shit, whatever. And it's the first time I get to one of those save points or campfires.
There you go.
That I'm like, wait a minute, why are they telling me to save my shit here? And then meet like said next enemy, die, and have my shit, have to go back and get it like any other Souls game. Yeah. Fuck these games. I am so over them. I know that people love them. But I have one thing to say about Souls games, but also about this game. In general, I think it's actually not as bad as most of the Souls for me. When I say bad, I mean it's more forgiving. Mm-hmm. Where you really can't upgrade a bunch of stuff, really focus on the way you want to play the game. The shooting really helps because I feel like if you're taking cover and being at a distance, you won't just get one-shotted every time, right? There's a dodge mechanic, a really good dodge roll that takes some stamina, but I never really felt like I was like screwed when I couldn't use the stamina roll. So if I was really in trouble, I stamina rolled away, got behind cover, shot them, and felt like I was kind of in control. Like a Souls game that I'm just doing melee, I feel like I'm like fucked as soon as I go into a fight, right?
Okay, right.
I could be like, oh no, I picked the wrong thing, I'm dead. But this one, I'm like, okay, I picked the wrong thing, run away, dodge, get out of there, shoot him from a distance, and like, oh, I made it. So even though I realized it was Souls, like I was still having a pretty good time until at some point, and this is kind of my tangent, I don't know why these games do this, but they decide to just make simple enemies be able to kill anybody, right? That's like a main thing of a Souls game. Like, oh, even a skeleton could kill you if you don't be smart.
Totally, exactly, yes.
It doesn't fucking fit the world they built specifically for this game, Immortal Unchained, because you build this huge, bulking character. He's a badass motherfucker, right? He's got guns, he's got melee, he's good. I've actually upgraded him at this point. Okay, we're pretty, 3 hours into the game. I'm feeling good about myself. I've taken out a ton of people. I find two very weak guys. They surround me and they kill me in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Your game is busted, bruh, because that's not realistic in your game world. I know you're trying to, in my opinion, they're just trying to be a Souls-like. So they're saying like, hey, you know what we'll do is we'll make any enemy that's even light enemies take half damage. Take away half of their damage if they get hit, close combat style. But that's a fucked up mechanic. And I just implore developers to stop that. I just do it a little differently. Like, if I feel like I'm pretty badass and I got in over my head and these enemies are tough, like they look tough and they're actually a tough enemy, then that's on me. But don't fucking, I'm trying to think of the word for this, but like front load it with like, oh yeah, any enemy can take half of your damage away.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that you bring this up because there's a couple of new Souls-like out right now. I'm still playing Neo, which I will talk about at the end of the show. But I like that one a lot because I feel like even though it kind of vaguely is in the Souls-like basket, it changes a lot up and it does not necessarily feel like a Souls-like. But there's a couple coming down the pipe right now. One is called Hellraid, which is kind of a sci-fi Souls-like where you can also do co-op, which I think is kind of neat. And then the other one is called Mortal Shell, where you can like swap bodies instead of changing your build. We're going to have reviews of both of those at Game Critics pretty soon. But it's interesting because I feel like I feel like the people who are developers really like the Souls games and they want to like make that same thing, but they don't always take the right lessons away from it. And that kind of is what you're reminding me of when you say even a little skeleton can kill you. Because like that was one of the things that the original Souls games were known for, and they had a reason. Like it made sense then because they were training the player to be more cautious. They were training the player to not hack and slash. They were training the player to not run forward because even the smallest enemy could get you if they got the drop on you. But like, okay, we're done with that. Like, let's move on. Let's do something different. And it's just weird, the bits and pieces of Souls that some developers carry forward, even if it doesn't make sense in their own game. I can think of a number of Souls games or Souls likes where they've taken something that From did that made sense in their game, and it totally does not make sense in their game.
Right.
But they do it because that's what Souls did. And don't do that, developers. Don't do it if it doesn't make sense. And really, ask yourself very honestly, does this make sense? Don't do it because you like Souls. Do it because it makes sense for your game.
Right, because you know what? Here's the thing. I'm even on board with that game when they did the save points and, okay, you died, you have to go back and get your thing. That's fine. I get why you're doing that, and maybe it makes sense in this game, in this world. But, like, in the beginning, I'm already buff. Like, I'm already, like, a strong-ass person. I'm not, like, like a loincloth in Dark Souls, like, running around with, like, a dagger, right? Which makes sense because any skeleton could kill you. But I'm, like, a tough motherfucking dude who's like, seen some shit. So don't make this character so awesome and then be like, again, it's like they just have these little teeny little guys go like half of your health is gone. It's stupid.
I guess it just goes to show that appearances aren't everything. You can be a big buff dude and still get 86 by a little skeleton or whatever. I guess
I get what you're saying there, hilarious, but also it doesn't work in practice. It's just, I mean, I'm out, like I don't want to go back to that where I feel badass for a second. You know what it is? And this is my closing statement. It's balancing. Just balance the fucker, because I was feeling kick ass, especially with guns, because guns like change the whole thing around, right? And because some little guy gets a drop on me and gets close to me, like that's going to end my whole life. No, it's wrong.
Well, again, that's something that developers take from Souls is the feeling of disempowerment and the feeling of not kicking ass is definitely like a Souls-like thing that people kind of take a little bit too far. But if it makes you feel any better, I played this when it first came out. I bounced real hard off it, and I am definitely like a Souls guy. Like I've played all the Souls games, so I'm in that trench sometimes, and I bounced off of Immortal. I know a few people that I know liked it a lot, but it did not ring good for me. So I got out of there real quick. So don't feel bad.
Okay.
Moving on, Heroes of Hammerwatch. Full disclosure, was sent this code for the purposes of speaking about it here on the podcast, which is what I'm doing now. This is, I guess, apparently it was pretty successful on PC, or that's what the PR people tell me. I didn't know a lot about it, but I looked at the trailer and it seemed kind of fun. It looked like a top-down, pixel-based, dual-stick kind of shooter, kind of along the veins of like a top-down Diablo or maybe like, something like that. That seemed like, I'm okay, I could play that. It was on the Switch, also a plus. So I got the game, and I don't... So the problem with this game is there are certain types of games out there where you get a very clear feeling that the developer doesn't give a shit about you. Where like they take no steps whatsoever to onboard you. They don't give you sufficient tutorials. They don't explain what the systems are. They don't explain the premise of the game. And whenever I play one of these, I'm just like, fuck you. Because I'm a busy person. I've got a family. I've got responsibilities. I've got life. And I'm not a newbie to games. I've played fucking 35 fucking years of games. So it's like I know about games. But every game is different, right? And I don't want to have to go on an FAQ as my very first step when I play a brand new game. So like I start Heroes of Hammerwatch. Obviously, it's like a top-down sort of thing. I'm in the middle of a town. I don't know who I'm supposed to talk to. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. It's not obvious, and I'm walking around talking to people, and I'm just trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do. There's like this weird little character creator, which is strange because your guy is like this tiny little pixel guy, and you don't usually get character creators in 2D games where your character is tiny. So that was kind of a weird thing as well. A bunch of classes to pick from, and I wasn't really sure which one was what. So I picked the basic sword and board guy, and I just like wander around for a while. I finally found a dungeon. I don't know if it's the right dungeon, and I just start attacking things, and I get like swarmed like immediately. and then I die, and I'm just like, so is it a roguelike? Is it not a roguelike? Do I need to go back and get my stuff? Do I not? How is this game working? I don't know. And the game is telling me, like, literally nothing. Like, it's just like, jump in, and I'm like, I can just feel it in my bones. They want me to go to an FAQ or a wiki and read up about how to play this game, and I refuse to do that. You're going to give me this game, take 5 fucking seconds to explain your game to me, be a little bit kind, like be nice to me as the player, because potentially I'm a customer who may buy your future game, or maybe I'll use word of mouth to tell other people about what a great game you made. That's not going to happen this time, because you, the developer, are clearly in love with your own work. You didn't take any time to explain it to me, the player, and now I'm out because I just feel like you just don't give a shit whether I'm here or not. So I'm not. So I'm out.
So I'm not. I'm gone.
I'm gone. I got a million other games to play that are way more friendly to me. And I'm not saying it's just a difficulty thing. It's just about communicate to me, establish a bond, draw me into your game, teach me what I'm supposed to do, and then let me play. Like, don't just drop me in and like, oh, you know, that whole indie thing of like, they'll just figure it out themselves. Real gamers hate tutorials. Real gamers like to figure things out and just struggle through and learn on their own. Like, fuck off. Like, if you don't explain your game, I'm out. Here's a Hammerwatch. I'm out.
You're out. And it goes hand in hand with that whole get good thing sometimes for me.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
By the way, it's interesting because I love Heroes of Might and Magic. Do you remember that game?
Vaguely, but I was never really into that series.
Oh, my goodness. I don't think I've talked about this in the podcast. Before I go into Heroes of Might and Magic, this doesn't have anything to do with that, right? Because it looks like the same font and everything, but...
as far as I know, it's just a totally separate thing. Maybe these guys are fans of that game. I don't know. But again, how would I know? They didn't tell me jack shit about anything.
Right. It could be like a sequel or something.
Who knows? Who knows?
Heroes of Might and Magic 2 and 3. They made like 5. I think
these
they're
are all
working on
PC
6.
games, right?
They're all PC games.
Yeah.
I played it on my PC. Literally one of my best video game memories ever. Of all time. Breg Galloway. It is like a... what's it? Advance Wars, right? So it's a game where you have a bunch of different units and you're fighting other units on a battlefield. But it's done in the fantasy setting, and it was before its time. It was like, an early version of what you see now when it comes to those types of strategy RPG type games. It's super addictive, and still to this day I can sit down and play Here's My Magic 2 or 3 and play for hours and hours and hours. It must have played like 1,000 hours of that game or something crazy, like years.
I'll have to check it out, but I think the reason I never got into it is because I just was not a PC player ever, and we didn't have a computer for a long time. So a lot of the touchstones that people of our age bracket can claim that are on PC are just zeros to me because I just never played on PC.
Yeah, that's right.
So.
Like Ultima, you never played Ultima?
No, never.
Oh, it's like the biggest game in the world to me. Okay.
Okay, moving on. That's not the game that you brought to the script. We are actually going to be talking about next.
Here's My Magic. Sorry.
No, not that. No. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon, infinite combat?
Yeah, that's good. It is an RPG. We're talking about fantasy, at least. Yeah, so this is another one where, again, I have problems. I have an addiction. I'm here to say it, and, it's okay. I think I've been, owned my addiction. But
You're on the record.
I keep searching for a game that will really scratch that itch. And, like you said, playing games for 30 plus years, it takes a special something. So as I was searching, I found Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Quickly looked at the screenshots, looked at the gameplay. It was basically a dungeon, like RPG, action RPG, dungeon crawler game.
Is it a top-down or a first-person?
Top-down, like that, 3/4 view, little character fighting monsters in a dungeon, and then also visual novel with some anime.
Is it JRPG turn-based combat?
It's JRPG, but I'll tell you why it's not quite JRPG.
Okay.
It's action-based, so it's not turn-based, but it's also not really action-based. And I'll get into that. The reason I picked it up, because, the title alone, come on, right? A little bit of sexy action.
It's crazy enough to get anybody to click on it, yes.
Yeah. Sexy action, they're showing sexy girls. I always say, you always tell me that, like, you have some fun with some of these visual novels. I'm like, hey, this is perfect. I can do a little bit of action RPG. I can do a little bit of what Brad likes. I can maybe get into kind of a visual novel. Let's do this. So, again, really, really just go for it. I don't do any research. And unfortunately, it's similar to the other games, Sword Art Online. It's an anime and manga. and huge film series.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
I've
And I
never heard
almost
of it.
don't want it to be, you know? Like, I just thought it'd be really cool if it's just a random game that's called that. So people know of it. I'm sure you're already listening to me going like, yeah, of course, you idiot. That's a series.
I mean, I didn't know about it, so you're not alone there. I had no idea it was a series.
No, thank you, Brett Galway. For some reason, I'm saying your full name. I think it's because I had a drink.
That's fine. It rolls off the tongue. You can call me that. That's fine. It's totally no problem.
So, anyways, there is a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of like meeting of people and talking to them. The story is pretty much throwawayable. It's essentially, the gods were bored, so they decided to come down to Earth and be like humans. Which means, of course, they're going to date them, you know, because that's
why not?
The next part.
Come down to Earth for a little ass when you get bored in heaven. Why not?
Yeah. Some people ass. Gross. I don't know how I made that gross, but it did sound that way. So that's the backstory, and you're a character, but similar to that anime thing from Sword Art Online, they're like, oh, you know you're that character, Belle, right? And you have this goddess, and she's your best friend, remember? I'm like, oh,
so are they not really onboarding you into the story? Are they kind of just assuming you already
it's
know
like,
it?
get in there, go into the dungeon.
Oh, that's a bummer.
So I go into the dungeon, do the dungeon part. I'm like, it's fine. I'll just deal with the fact that this is an anime. Maybe I'll have some fun with the combat, come back out and get some sexy action, right?
Right.
So I go into the combat, and it's not fun because essentially, I said it's action-based. You have a light attack, a strong attack, and later on magic and helper units. Right in the beginning, it's just light attack, strong attack. And you have a dodge button. But the dodge has a cooldown, the strong attack has a cooldown, and the cooldown doesn't just include not being able to hit it again, but the cooldown means you can't move your character.
I thought you were going to say the cooldown has a cooldown. I was waiting for that.
I like how you were laughing before I finished, yeah.
Oh my god!
But Brad, the cooldown has a cooldown, and that cooldown has a cooldown.
It's like cooldown Inception.
But you're not wrong, because guess what happens when you swing your strong attack? It has a cooldown, but yeah, you can't move your character. Do you see how stupid that is?
That sounds real. So, I guess is the premise that they want you to be very, very, very strategic before you hit the attack button because you're going to be frozen in place for a few seconds?
If so, it's broken. It doesn't work because that is no game. Again, playing games 30 years. It doesn't work in a fun setting. It doesn't even work in a strategy setting because mainly what I did is I thought that same thing, and I said, okay, I'll just do light attack, strong attack, and then I'll get ready to hit the dodge button because I'm going to be paused for a minute. So it hit the dodge button, but it wouldn't respond right away because even the dodge was paused.
Yeah.
So that's broken.
I mean, to be fair, when I do a dodge roll in real life, I have to take a few seconds to kind of pull myself together afterwards. So
if for a real person, like a me or a you, in real life, yes. I'd have to gather myself, yes.
Yes.
That's not what I'm looking for
Band-Aids,
in a fantasy RPG with goddesses, right? So unfortunately, I'm out, I think, again. I went back because I really do like the idea. It's essentially kind of an action RPG roguelike in a way, but easier than a normal roguelike where you could go in, you don't really lose a lot of progress if you leave again. And you just go down the dungeons and kind of like fight monsters, come back, upgrade your shit. But the actual minute-to-minute combat is so frustrating because you get paused, and I don't know why the fuck they would have chosen that.
Interesting. Are you playing this on what, PS4 or Switch?
PS4,
where are you at?
yeah.
PS4. Okay. All right. Carlos is out on that one. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm saying I'm out. I'm agreeing.
He's out. The next game we're bringing up to the table here is Meteorfall, Krumit's Tale. Now, you actually talked about this on the podcast many moons ago, correct?
Yes. Yeah. I know you mentioned like, hey, we're going to talk about this, and I was like, I think I already played it and talked about it.
Yeah, you did. It was ages ago. But it is now coming to... Why am I talking about it? Because it came to Android, I believe, is the thing that... maybe it's out of early access? Maybe it's... Oh, man. I'm such a terrible podcast host. I apologize to the people who made Meteorfall, Krumit's Tale, because I did mention Meteorfall a while ago. It is a great deck-building roguelike game that is available on iOS and Android. I had a lot of fun with that. Finished that a couple of times. I do recommend Meteorfall. And this is kind of the follow-up, I would assume. Also, I'm playing this on Android. I'm assuming it's been on iOS for a while. So basically, it's another roguelike, and it's kind of like a deck builder. Not exactly the same as Meteorfall, though. They kind of change it up a bit. And in this particular game, what happens is you kind of fight on like puzzle boards, and you also have like a deck, sort of. You get to choose the cards that you want. Not all of them, but you get to choose a couple of them. You go into a puzzle board where like blocks are falling, and then you choose to fight some of these blocks. Some blocks are monsters, some are items, some are some other things, and so you kind of some of it's armor that you can equip. And so you choose what you want to do, and you have to manage your life and manage like your energy points and stuff like that. And basically, you have limited resources, and you have to figure out how best to use your limited resources to clear the board. So like, let's say, for example, you start the board, there's like 3 trolls, a healing potion, and a suit of armor on the board. And you got to decide, is it better for me to kill 3 trolls and then drink the potion, or should I pick up the potion and save it for later? And then should I kill this troll then? And like in which order do you do things? Because after you take something off the board, something else falls down, kind of like Tetris style. So you've got to be mindful about what's coming up next. There's a little counter at the top that says, up next is a troll, up next is a life potion, up next is a weapon. And so you're constantly trying to figure out, like, how many points do I have left? What items do I have? What's coming up next? And what am I going to need to do to clear this board? So it's got more of a puzzle feel than the original Meteorfall did, which was just kind of a straight up just like deck builder. So it's an interesting spin on the formula. I think it's pretty cool. I liked it. I did not put like a ton of time into it, just because I don't play a lot of Android games. I think Puzzle Quest is the only thing I really play a significant amount of. But I did like it. I think it's really well put together. The art really reminds me of like Adventure Time. So totally. you either like that or you don't. But I think it's clever. I think it's well constructed. I think it's pretty good for playing on the go, because you can get a couple quick rounds in. I tried to like, finish a chunk of levels, and I got to say, like, after a while, it did get pretty challenging. I think that if I had kept playing, I would have unlocked more things, which would have given me more cards, which would have given me more options to clear the puzzles more effectively. So I'm sure that's, there's a power curve there that I just didn't finish my journey on. But so far, I mean, I really like it. I'm probably not going to put much more time into it because, like I said, I just don't play a lot on Android. But if you're looking for a, roguelike, quick hit, 5-10 minute game, something to kill some time while you're on the bus or something, it's just really well polished, really well done. I really like it a lot. If I am gonna be on a bus or I'm gonna be stuck somewhere, not likely because coronavirus, but the next time I will be stuck somewhere, I would easily pull this out and play a couple rounds. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I love this game. I think I remember talking about it, and you said like, "Oh yeah, I played the essentially original build."
The original, yeah. The original Meteorfall, yeah.
And I don't even go in for these games a lot, and I really like the art. I mean, like you said, sometimes the art can really make a game, and I really like the Adventure Time style art. I think it's addictive. I like how, like you said, it shows the next Tetris piece essentially coming down, so you could really do a lot of planning that way. Yeah. And each kind of like artwork of all the objects are really interesting and fun. It was very addictive. I don't even know why I stopped playing it, because I played it for a long time.
I was going to ask if you had finished it.
No, because it's a story, right? It has an actual ending.
Yeah, there is a quest, I believe. Yeah, so it's not just a roguelike, but I think you can finish it.
Just like we do on this podcast, we inspire each other lots of times to go back and play different games.
Yeah.
I think just bringing it up again will have me go back and try to beat it, because I was playing it on Steam, and it is actually quite a relaxing and fun time on Steam if you're a person who plays on your computer. Sometimes I'll minimize my work and just want to chill out for a minute, and this is a perfect game for that, where you just like, okay, let me just put my work aside for a minute and let me just do a couple sections of this. It's a great fucking game.
Yeah, it's good, and it's a good fit for my phone too. I felt like it was, it used the real estate appropriately. It was easy to control. Like the visuals were clear. Like it's really well done. It's really well polished. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to put much more time into it, but I really like what I saw, and I would absolutely recommend it to people who are looking for a good Android game or iOS game for sure. Cool. It's quality stuff. Moving on, Carlos, Buried Stars. I have literally no fucking idea what game this is, which doesn't happen to me too often. Where did you find this? What is it? What's going on? Buried Stars.
This is part of my Carlos has got issues, and he is going through like a monster through the PS4 store and just buying shit up because he is not fulfilled. He is an unfulfilled person. He needs something to make him feel whole, to Stop.
I love that you lapsed into third person talking about yourself.
Yeah. Yes. That's what happens sometimes in Corona. It's just this is a different time space. I want to find the name of the company though because I feel
you talk about this game. I'll look it up.
Look up the company.
What is this game?
They're a Korean company and they have many different types of games, which is really interesting. I mean, action RPGs. I think they have a card game, and this game is a mixture as well. It's similar to the one I mentioned earlier, and the fact that its genre is a mix, like Zanki Zero. Buried Stars is a game that is similar to a visual novel. You see, I'm getting the impressions from Brad, and I want to, I'm getting some of that. Hey, I should try some more visual novels.
You got to go play Vampire, dude. That is like a kick-ass visual novel. Like you can't go. Just get that one,
okay.
And if you like that one, we'll go from there. But anyway, all right.
It keeps popping up, and I go, yeah, you know what? Brad said I should try these types of games. So it's a mystery game, and it's a visual novel at the same time. So, and kind of a puzzle game. You control a bunch of different characters, so not just one character. You are 3, or I think it's actually 5 different like pop star wannabes who are on like an American Idol show, and you're essentially you have their own little backstories. There's like I think 2 or 3 girls, 2 or 3 guys, and you all have backstories, and they're just about to announce like who's going to make it to the next round or something, and some sort of, again, similar to Zanki Zero, cataclysmic event that is never explained yet happens and like destroys the set that you're on. And people go running, and you kind of wake up. You actually do play as one main character. I'm sorry. You play as one of the main people. And you're trying to, like, piece together what just happened. Like, this earthquake happened, similar to, like, a disaster report. Like, what's going on?
Are you underground? Is that why you're buried, Stars? Are you trapped in a subway or something?
You're stuck in this, like a TV set, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Where they were doing the show, and you're like kind of like locked in. But again, it's kind of suspicious because everybody else made it out, but just you guys didn't. So I think something else is going on here. So you're trying to figure out what's going on. As you meet people, you talk to them. You're obviously talking to the other pop stars. There's a couple of people like stagehands and people who are helping produce a show that are around. And you're all just trying to figure out what's going on. And the way the game plays is, as you talk to people and have conversations, you unlock words. And you also unlock like different themes. So like I was talking to the stagehand, and it's like, hey, this stage looks like fucking whack. Like I can see why it just fell over, and we almost died because it was like made like really shitty. And he's like, yeah, that shit was made yesterday. And like all of a sudden, yesterday, like shit was made yesterday pops up as a choice, and like almost like a card game. Like I can use that for later. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So like you have a conversation, a keyword pops up, and then you can use that keyword to trigger conversations with other people, I'm assuming?
That's it. You said it much better.
There you go.
So that happens throughout every conversation. You start like building up these little vocabulary and different kind of things you can talk to each character about. And then it's up to you and who you want to talk to and what you want to talk about. So it's open-ended that way. But you're trying to figure out what the fuck happened and obviously escape. So I'm thinking like this is going to be kind of a fun little time, and I'm having some fun with it, and it's interesting, the backstory and the character, the art looks really good. I never played a game like this. I've like never played a game that does that mechanic. So I'm having an okay time with it, but then
I knew there was a butt coming. Okay, go ahead.
This show has a lot of butts in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of
ours.
People ass in this show today.
Oh, it's that. Can you write that down, please?
We can do people.
Can we say people ass on SoundCloud?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay, this is the people ass episode.
We got it.
So basically, all of a sudden, I make a choice about like talking to some girl, and I don't know. I said something. We should try something. She's like, "Yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea." But what about? And all of a sudden, I hear clank, and some huge piece of metal from the ceiling hit me on the head, and I died.
What?
And it wasn't like you have the chance to move out of the way or do you really want to make that decision. It was like clank.
Now wait a minute. Is this visual novel style? Like
visual novel style.
Okay, so you didn't like. You're not a third person. Like you didn't have to like have a dodge button or anything. Like you're just talking to people.
What I'm saying, like,
style.
yeah, but they didn't even give me like a, hey, are you sure you want to do that? Or like, this is like a dangerous thing. It was just like, I was talking about something non-related to metal falling from the ceiling. And all of a sudden, clank. And it said, you're dead. And like, do you want to start from the last checkpoint? The last checkpoint was quite a while ago too, because I hadn't
Oh
saved it.
no!
Not like epic, but the fact it was more like I was turned off that you could die so quickly, and without like reason. Like I didn't understand the reasoning. I'm not saying that I'm gonna stop this game, but it wasn't really kind of. It almost made me like leave, in the fact that like I didn't. It didn't feel like there was a real reason for that to happen. You know what I mean?
Is this one of those where you can save anytime from like a start menu, or do you have to like go find a save point?
You have to save, I think, from a smartwatch.
But you can do it anytime?
I don't remember. I think it's because the metal hit me on the head.
You got amnesia from that impact.
Yeah. No, I don't remember. I think it might be a little bit like not every second, like just at some points.
Okay.
And I remember just having to go back through a bunch of more dialogue that I didn't want to do. But yeah, it was just really weird. Like I like the mechanic. It's very interesting. I'd never played a game like this before. So I might go back. I wouldn't like to go through this whole game with how many hours it is and like just die a bunch of times. So I don't know. Have you played a game like this before?
I mean, it sounds very similar to a number of visual novels. I mean, I can't say for certain because I haven't played Buried Stars, but like what you're describing sounds like a lot of other games. It sounds a lot like 999 or like one of those other visual novels that have cult followings. It's funny because every game you've brought up so far, I have heard of, but I haven't really like investigated more closely. But now that you're talking about them, I'm going to go back and like kind of check them all out on the PSN store and see if any of these are something I want to get back into. But if you're gonna go on this kick of visual novels, just do yourself a favor. Just go buy Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. You can get it on Switch. It's on PS4. I think it's on Xbox. I think it's everywhere. Just buy that one. That one is awesome. It's so good. If you are ever going to like a visual novel, you will like that one. If you don't like Vampire, you will not like any visual novel ever. Okay, so just get that one.
I will.
And let me know.
But I will say, though, the other reason, though, is because I'm hungry for new experiences, and I like the idea, the setup of, like, being on a pop idol's, like, stage and, like, some sort of, like, calamity happening.
I mean, I'm interested. You sold me on it, kind of. I'm going to go back and check it out now. So
yeah,
I hear what you're saying.
Disaster Report meets, like, a visual novel meets pop idols. Like, I was like, that seems very interesting. So, yeah, I might go back to it. And, again, I'm being the guinea pig for all our listeners and for you.
You are taking the hits, and we appreciate it.
Literally taking the hits. A piece of
literally
metal
on the head, right on the head. Next game is Cruel Band's Career. This is coming to us from, I believe it's Indie Nova. I believe they are a Chinese publisher. Again, full disclosure, got a code for the purpose of talking about it on the show, which I'm doing now. This is a very difficult game to describe. It is a very unique, interesting experience. I don't even know what to even say about it. But, so to start with, it's on the Switch. That's where I'm playing it. It's a hand-drawn graphics, which I will just start off with by saying the graphics are awesome. I love the art style. The artist is really talented. They have very simple line drawings, which they have animated very fluidly. It reminds me a little bit of Cuphead, but not as fluid as that, and not as 1920s as that, but just the same sort of like really fluid, artistic, very graphic intensive art, just hand-drawn art, which I think is great. I love the visual style of this game. I think it looks awesome. It's also in black and white, but that's totally not a problem at all because the art is so good. Like I just love the way it looks. So
that's a beautiful, beautiful fucking game, and I've like literally had my finger on the trigger.
Do not pull that trigger. Don't pull that trigger.
Okay.
Take the finger off the trigger, step away from the buy button. So it looks great, and that's what sold me on it, right? Like I watched the trailer and I saw the style, and I'm like, this looks amazing. I definitely want to check this out. What it is a harm reduction game, and I don't know if that's even a genre. If it's not, I'm gonna coin it right here. But basically, what happens is you have a group of 3 musicians who are on a stage. They are on the left side of the screen. You can rotate them around so that any one of the 3 people can be the lead singer at any time. So you can just kind of like in a circle, just roll them around. And what happens is people from the right side of the screen will rush the stage. Some of them are good and they're like fans or whatever. And some of them are like angry and they're like shaking their fist at you, or they have a knife or something. So it's like a mix of like good and bad that are rushing the stage. And you have to rotate your band to make sure that the right musician is intercepting the right person as they rush the stage at the right time. So like, let's say you see a guy who's like angry and he's shaking his fist and he's rushing the stage and he's coming to you in the top. the top of the screen. You got to rotate your band around so that there's one guy who has a chance of deflecting that guy's attack. Rotate your band so that that guy is at the top. He's going to meet the guy who's rushing the stage, and hopefully that match is going to happen properly. And it's a little tough to describe, but you're doing like a high-speed match game where stuff is coming at you from the right side of the screen to the left. So just keep that in mind. But the thing about this game, like I said, it's a harm reduction game. So no matter what you do, you're taking damage. Because if you have a fangirl who wants to kiss the lead singer, you turn your band around, that kiss happens. The other two guys in your band get jealous because they're not being kissed, so they take a little bit of damage. So you rotate them around, you try to like get out of each level by taking as little damage as possible, but you are gonna take damage. There's no way around it. Like, there is no correct path of action to which you don't take damage. So that to me was a very difficult concept to work with, because no matter what I did, my guys' health was just dropping and dropping and dropping, which is the point of the game, right? Like, it kind of took me a while to figure that out, because they don't really do like the greatest tutorials. It's kind of like purposely vague, which is a style, I guess. But once I figured out that no matter what I did, I was going to take damage, I simply had to take the least amount of damage and hopefully finish the stage without anybody dying. Once I figured that out, I'm like, okay, I get it, but it makes for a very brutal experience. It's very, very tough. The people rush the stage at a very high rate of speed. There's a lot of things happening on the screen at once. I mean, it looks good. It's very clear to read, but it's just you're juggling so many things, and you're constantly making these little micro decisions about which one of my guys is the right guy to take this guy rushing the stage, because they're all going to get hurt. Who's got the most life? Who can afford to take the hit? And if this guy takes the hit, what's going to happen to my two teammates? Are they going to be okay? Are they going to take like splash damage also? Or what's going to happen? It's just like a lot of like micro decisions at a very rapid pace. And like none of them are correct. Like, you're all just, whatever you do, you're going to take damage, which kind of frustrating. Like, I kind of didn't like it, honestly. I wish that there was more of a puzzle aspect to where maybe you could make correct moves and not lose life, and that way you could hang in the game longer and like finish more strongly. But I really struggled with this game, dude. I feel like it's very, very, very difficult. I feel like it's got a very steep bar of entry, and as much as I like the visual style, I just wasn't having fun because I was dying too often, and I just wasn't getting that feeling of victory. Like, you don't ever get the satisfying feeling of like, yeah, I solved that puzzle and I figured it out. I feel good. It was just like, oh shit, I barely got through that one. That was so close. Like, I finished with a sliver of life, and I got through the next stage, and the next stage was even harder. And oh man, I'm back to the start now, and I got to do this thing again. And it's kind of a roguelike. But you don't really like, I never made enough progress for it to really matter because I just died so often. So it sucks because I really want to like this game because I love the way it looks. I think it looks so fucking cool, but I had like no fun with it. It's just really too brutal. It's a very, 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 very specific sort of experience, and I don't know exactly who that player is, but that player is not me. So
finger off the trigger. Finger off the trigger.
Do not buy that, dude. I guarantee you will play that for 5 minutes and you will not like it.
You know, it's funny. A lot of the games so far we talked about in this episode are weird, different genres that also don't work. Or or have like, you know, trickiness to them. It goes to show you that mechanics is a huge part of your game, obviously, and graphics can't hold and bring you along just on their own.
Yeah.
When you're describing this sounds like Tapper.
It is very, yes. That is a very good, for anybody old enough to know what that is. That is a very good analogy. It is a lot like Tapper, yes.
And
later
you don't
change rows. You just stay in the middle. But yes, that's what it is.
Later on, it was turned into Root Beer Tapper, because the original Tapper was you serving beers to people coming down and asking you for different beers, and you're the bartender. And kids look it up. It's an arcade game, but also I'm sure it's on some sort of console somewhere. And then they couldn't show, and it used to have Budweiser in it as like an actual brand. And then they said they couldn't show beer to kids, so they turned it into Root Beer Tapper.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's the same thing where there's these ton of people coming at you. You're always essentially kind of losing because there's always people coming to get something from you, and you're continually trying to appease them. And at some point, you'll lose. And what would happen in that game is they would actually, if they got to you, they'd throw you down the bar.
Yeah,
they'd actually throw you off of the bar, and you'd be like, damn.
Yeah.
So yeah, that sounds like Tapper, and I don't want to play it. So thanks for that.
Good call. Good call. That is exactly right. It is like an updated version of Tapper or Root Beer Tapper, and it's just like you're just not going to win. Like you're just going to lose less, and I just don't find that very fun. So maybe this is somebody's jam. It is not my jam, but I love the way it looks. I love that Indie Nova is taking risks. I mean, I think it's great that somebody made this game and then it's out there, but it is not for me. So there's that. One more game in the round robin here, Hyperscape, which just came out recently. Looks to me like some kind of a first-person parkour, I don't know, like an Overwatch-style game or some kind of online competition game. Is that right?
It's it's a shooter. PvP,
free to play, yes.
Free to play.
Free to play.
Before I get into that real quick, Buried Stars was done by Line Games Corporation, and why I wanted to bring that up is because Line is the #1 app in Japan for essentially text messaging and everything. Really, it's a huge.
I
app.
have it on my phone. I use it all the time.
Yeah, and it's really fun. It's got all these emojis. So they've actually made a bunch of games, and they've actually made a ton of style games. And so it's that's who makes that game.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
Hyperscape, it's so full disclosure, my day job is working on Scavengers, which I mentioned before. We are in that same realm of these free-to-play games that want to, bring in people who want to have a shooter type experience and have fun, but also later on, might want to buy a couple things here and there. I think, ours is different because we're third person. This is a first-person game. Ours is different for a bunch of reasons. But this is really closely, like you said, like an Overwatch, an Apex Legends. It's that style of game, first person. You're doing a little bit of melee. You're really shooting most of the time. And I will say a couple positives are they do have a couple different, they call them hacks. So they're essentially like little power-ups you can do. And they're strewn about the world, so you can keep picking them up and get different ones. So it's not like a loadout. It's like you can just like run around the world, find these little different hacks, and then use them.
Do they like expire? They're like temporary power-ups?
No, they're just until you want to get rid of them.
Okay, gotcha.
So essentially, like you have 2 slots for weapons, you have 2 slots for power-ups. This is a quick hit, so I'm not going to go into it. If you don't know what a free-to-play shooter is, just download one. But it's essentially like a lot of the other ones, right? Where instead of it being a closing circle, like the Battle Royale games, it's like closing sections. Like, so certain zones will close out, and so you got to be away from those. So it kind of forces the play to get closer to people. But it is a pretty big open world, and you can really jump around like Dishonored. Like, it feels like a Dishonored feel.
Okay.
You're kind of parkouring. You're kind of jumping up buildings. It feels pretty good. The slide feels good. And, again, you're kind of just jumping into different areas when they close, so you get kind of close to other people. But you can really do a cat and mouse thing where you don't have to just all converge on one area and fight each other. You can really kind of jump around the map a lot, which I like that quite a bit. The shooting feels okay. It felt a little loosey-goosey for me. On controller, it's a little tough. But at the same time, I felt never really totally cornered because the world is so open. And I like that it's not, again, that collapsing circle. I like that you can kind of jump around to different zones. Some of the special weapons or special power-ups that I really like, one of them allows you to essentially turn into a bouncing ball. And it really changes the whole game because now it turns into third person. And you are bouncing around the world with kind of a shield on. And I remember just like bouncing by another bouncing ball and going like, "What's up, buddy? I'm not going to fight you." And he just kept bouncing too. And I was like, okay, cool. It's a defensive mechanism. It was kind of fun. I put it like a 5 out of 10. Like, okay. I can see it. The shooting's okay. The third person kind of weird little quirky power-ups are kind of fun. And near the end of the match, I was playing a solo match because you can play teams or solo. So at the end of the solo match, there's a crown that shows up, and it kind of converges on the one spot. And either you can go get the crown, or you can try to like shoot everybody else. So there's kind of 2 different ways to victory. If you get the crown, you got to keep the crown until the end, and if you don't get the crown, you just have to like try to kill everybody else. I died. I got second the first game, which is like crazy because I don't ever do that well in like a first person shooter free to play. So I kind of had an okay time where I didn't feel like I was just totally fucked. Like some of these games you land and you go, "Oh, I'm headshotted. It's over."
Right.
So it's not that, and that's my positive. The other positive is I like some of the little quirky power-ups. Being a bouncy ball was really fun. But it's also nothing to write home about, and I totally forgot about it once I was done playing it.
A resounding recommendation there. I forgot about it once I was done.
I didn't forget about the ball. I really like the bouncy ball. I think my review is had an okay time, placed second. That's a big deal. Like that I was a ball, 5 out of 10.
There you go. That is Hyperscape, free to play. I believe it's on every system, right?
Yeah, I think it's dropped on everything now. And again, I'm not discrediting it. It's a fun, okay time for a while. And maybe you like it more than me because you like those kind of games more than me. But it didn't hold my attention after that.
Right. And it's free to play. So, download it and give it a shot. Nothing really lost except for some bandwidth and a little bit of time. So
and you could get to be a bouncy ball. Come on, do the bouncy ball.
Bouncy ball. All right. Next game on the agenda. Let's just go ahead and just ping pong back and forth all the way through. I know we were going to go to chunks right here, but it just makes sense to keep doing what we're doing. If that's okay with you, Carlos.
Yep.
Next game is one that came out earlier this year. I bought it on the day it came out, and I haven't touched it until a couple days ago. Wide Ocean Big Jacket on the Switch. I saw the pictures in the eShop. I thought it looked like my jam, kind of a narrative, weird, simple indie game. I love those kind of things. Carlos, you have played this, correct?
I did, and I recommended it to you, remember?
Yeah, maybe you did. Maybe that's why I bought it. Who knows?
Yeah, on this podcast, I said something because we do 1,000 shows, but I said, Brad, I think you should get this. I think this is up your alley. Just putting it out there.
I think you were correct because it was absolutely up my alley, and I did get this. So this is on the Switch. It's about 90 minutes long, give or take. So it's a very brief, almost like a one-seating experience. Basically, it is a narrative game, and there's not a lot of interaction. It's kind of more of a narrative experience, basically. A married couple take their niece and her boyfriend on a camping trip, just like a one-night, overnight trip out to the ocean. And basically all you do in this game is just talk to everybody there. There's no combat. There's no quests. It's just you get to the campsite. People set up the campsite. You just talk about things that you would talk about if you've ever been camping. A couple people start drinking. People hang out at the fire. People walk around, look at the ocean. And you just talk. That's all you do is talk the entire time. It's a very simple, very brief, very compact experience. But what I really liked about it and what made me bring it to the show was it just really felt so human. We don't have enough games where it's just about people talking to each other or just relating to each other in a real way. And all of the characters in this game, I felt were resoundingly real and human. I could easily imagine having these conversations with anybody that I knew or friends that I know or family members. At one point they're talking about, your first sexual experience. What was that like? Oh, what is smoking all about? What is it like when you grow up? That kind of stuff. They felt like real conversations, and especially, I'm not a big camper, but when you go out camping, you just have time, right? There's no TV, there's no video games, you're just out there in the woods, and so people usually talk because there's not much else to do. You crack a beer, you sit at the campfire, you roast a hot dog, and you talk as the sun goes down, and that's kind of that's how it goes down out there, and that's really what was captured in this game. I just felt like all the characters were pretty real, and I just appreciated that it was just about them relating to each other in various ways. I thought it was great. I thought all the characters were really well written. I love that it was such a short experience. It gets in and it gets out. It does what it needs to do. There's zero fat.
Yeah.
It just delivers the goods, and then it's just thank you for coming. I'm out, and I'm thank you for being here. I'm also out. It's just a really good experience. I just really love it, and it's such a beautiful little piece of writing. I fell in love with it. I loved it.
I love how we've talked about this in this show many times, but especially in this time period where busy lives or whatever, it's just a short experience is great. Give us more of them. I love finishing something,
It's a good feeling.
It's a good feeling. So yeah, I agree with that. I have one question though.
Yeah.
I love Oxenfree, and you religiously hate it.
I hate Oxenfree.
Oxenfree is also on a beach, is also about conversation, and the whole game is just about talking to each other, and there's a little bit of supernatural. But how come you didn't like that comparatively? Because I feel like there is just walking and talking in Oxenfree.
Well, number one, this is 90 minutes versus 6 or 7 hours or whatever Oxenfree ended up being.
I don't think it's that long, but go ahead.
It's at least a couple hours long. If not, it's probably 5, 6 hours.
I think it's 4
long.
or something, yeah.
Something like that. But it's a lot longer. But also, just the writing. The writing in Oxenfree was really hipster and annoying and just very kind of try hard in a way that I found just not to be charming at all. And the discussions in Wide Ocean Big Jacket felt like real legit. Like, I mean, there was definitely jokes, and the teenage characters were like, you know, cracking wise all the time. But like, I could feel the humanity. Like, I could easily imagine myself having these conversations, whereas in Oxenfree, I could never in a million years imagine myself having those kind of conversations where it just felt like a lot of talk and too much. It's too much nothing else. Like, it just was too much fat in that game where you're walking around searching for items and just talking and talking and talking and talking. And it just didn't flow. It didn't feel natural. It didn't feel human the way that it did in Wide Ocean Big Jacket. So yeah. I found Oxenfree to be profoundly annoying and just really tedious. Whereas Wide Ocean Big Jacket was just like a breath of fresh air. And it comes down to the writing. It's all about the writing. It
does come down to the writing, and I agree with you on that. I mean, it's definitely not like going to win awards in my opinion. But I did like I kind of sometimes in these games I'll like go into the character that's there and go, all right, well, I understand they're talking like this because that's like the world that they exist in. But like, what was that? Firewatch, a great game.
Oh, Firewatch is wonderful. Yeah, I love
that
Firewatch.
has a lot of dialogue between him and that girl.
Great writing in Firewatch. Great writing.
Right. Yeah.
So
I agree with you there.
All right. So that was Wide Ocean Big Jacket. It's like 90 minutes. If you like indie games, you like narrative games, definitely pick it up. It's a great fit on the Switch. That's where I played it. It's wonderful. Carlos, tell me about Fall Guys, although I'm tempted to tell you not to because it's all I've fucking heard about for like the last week, and I'm kind of fucking sick of it. But please, bring it to the show and let's talk about it.
Yeah, we have to talk about it. This and the other one that we'll talk about, we have to because they're huge games.
We must.
I think this episode will probably be 3.5 hours long. But Fall Guys is the new game by, look the developer up. I forgot. They're
looking it up now.
A new developer, I believe. And essentially it's how do you describe this? It's a competition. It's a free to play, and you essentially Mediatonic. Thank you. They are running. You're a little character who runs around, top down, 3/4 view, top down. You run around with a bunch of other people. It's 60 players, which is pretty good. I know that we're working with that as well, like getting more and more players into a multiplayer game. It's tricky sometimes, but this is essentially just a race. So, it's a bunch of different types of games, and think of like Mario Party or something like that, where you have a bunch of different styles of games, but now you're playing with 60 people. And these little characters that you can kind of customize, and of course, as you win things, you get credits, or you can buy because it's monetization, so you can actually buy different outfits. And essentially, you're running your little character in the beginning to get to the end, like a finish line. But it's physics-based. You can grab other people, you can jump, you can dive, and you can run and basically avoid obstacles, avoid other players, and try to be part of the few that get into the finish line. Then once you essentially beat one of the rounds and you've made it, let's say they keep like 30 people from the first game, then you go to another game. And then that game you try to survive somehow and try to make it to the end. And near the end, there'll be like maybe they say 10 people left, or 9 or 8 because people drop off. And then those people go and try to get the crown. Similar to Hyperspace, there's a crown. And then whoever gets the crown is the winner. But even if you're not a winner, you get a bunch of credits and bonus points and all that kind of shit, experience points for, placing well.
It's like a season pass, kind of similar to Fortnite sort of a thing.
Yes, it's got Fortnite vibes all over it. It's super day glow colors. It's like super bright, super colorful.
Kid-friendly.
There's no violence at all. You're just jumping around, bumping into each other. Think of those games. That game where you, not a game, but when you put on those sumo suits.
Yep, those big
real life.
Inflatable sumo suits, and you bump into each other at a bar or something. Yeah,
you're kind of like those, right? You're like mini versions of those. And again, customization. As you win, you can upgrade your stuff or buy things. My biggest, I wouldn't say gripe, but it's hard for me not to think of this game and not think of the better game, Nippon Marathon. Now, I don't think I've talked about it in this podcast before.
Wait a minute. You keep talking. I'm going to look it up because I'm pretty sure I've played that game.
It is one of the best games I've ever played, especially these kind of like competition running games. It's still around. You can play it. It's for PS4.
It's awful. It's garbage.
You are full of that
game
garbage.
Is hot garbage. Dude.
You are hot garbage. Well, we're gonna be this can be the most contested moment on the podcast. How much did you play of it? And also, you're hot garbage. But
Maybe like half an hour because it was hot garbage, and I'm like, I can't play this garbage anymore because this garbage is too hot.
You are so much garbage. I can't.
That is a trash game, dude.
You are so much trash. It's like if I see you in person next time, I'm just gonna put like banana peels on top of your head because you're trash. Okay, so
anyway,
Nippon Marathon's a better game in this reason. It is wackier. It has physics, like true physics. Like Fall Guys has like in its name, you can fall down a lot, but it doesn't really feel like there's rhyme or reason on why you fall, which I hate. Right? Like, and you would hate this too about it. If any game that has physics, you'd be like, okay, if I'm running, I'm going pretty fast, and I dive, then I should land this way. But so many times you just bump up against anybody or like a weird door or something, you just fall over. And when you do, you lose precious time. So I feel like I don't feel in control of my character enough. And in Nippon Marathon, I felt very in control of my character. I knew if I dove, if I grabbed a power-up item and I was like floating in the air, if I was doing something, I was choosing to do it. And also the physics falling in Nippon Marathon is much funnier. I can show you many GIFs of like hilarious moments of like landing on my nutsack and being, rolling down the hill with a dog biting my ass. Hilarious. So Nippon Marathon does everything, in my opinion, versus Brad's garbage opinion.
Oh God, that game was horrible. I hate that game so much.
Okay, and we're both right, but what I'm saying is, in this context, if you hated Nippon Marathon, you would really hate Fall Guys then.
Oh, dude, I haven't even gone anywhere near it. My son downloaded it because I told him about it. I mean, it was all over Twitter, and I knew it was free, and it looked like something my son would like because he likes games like that. Like the interesting thing about having kids being in a gaming family, like I'm a hardcore gamer, my wife is a hardcore gamer, both of my kids love video games. But like we all love fucking different games. It's the craziest thing. Like it's very rare that any of our tastes overlap, which kind of speaks, very positively about the spectrum of games available. But I knew this was my son's thing and not my thing, so I haven't touched it. I have like less than zero interest in Fall Guys, but he's been having fun with it. He's been playing a little bit. He likes it, but he's also 11 and he likes that kind of stuff. So
let me give some constructive criticism and / pros and cons here at the end for people who do like this game, because I feel like then. Your point is valid to yourself, but you're not even like this audience. So I actually am the audience, and I loved Nippon Marathon. So listen to my wise words instead of Brad's right now. I will say that, your son will probably like it. It's not just for a younger audience, by the way. Nippon Marathon was, I think, primarily older people who played it. It was also kind of, I don't want to say dirty, but it had some really kind of risque things at times.
Sure.
And I like that one better for this reason. Like, I think it took more chances. It felt like you had more control of your character. It had more funny physics moments, and it just felt more just wacky and interesting. And the gameplay felt better. This one, unfortunately, the biggest reason why I keep leaving, because I do go back because it's very easy to just hit start and you're just in a game. So they did that really well, but I feel like I don't know why I lost sometimes. Right? So like some of the physics are off where I go, well, I shouldn't have fallen there. Or some of the game modes aren't just racing. Some are like you're on a team. So you're on a team with just random people and you can't communicate. And all of a sudden you've got to like push a ball into a goal or something. And so if you're with a bunch of people that aren't good at the game, your team's eliminated.
Right.
And then you're like, well, why am I even playing this? It's not even based on skill. And in Nippon Marathon, I always felt like I'm actually getting better at this game. Like, I literally, near the end, I have some epic GIFs I'll link in the show notes maybe, where I would, like, slide down the slide, jump into the air, grab an air balloon that was also a pineapple, land right next to a Chiba dog. He would bite my ass. I'd roll out of the way and win. Like, that's a fun fucking moment that was based on my expertise of the game. And in Fall Guys, I always feel like it's random. Like, I don't feel like I'm doing that much better. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I mean, based on the little bit I've seen of Fall Guys, just watching over my son's shoulder, it seems like something that you like. I kind of question whether you can even really genuinely get good at it because, like you said, the physics are really weird, and it's kind of just one of those like, just I imagine you have a couple beers, you have friends over, you just laugh at it, how dumb it is, and how the weird things that happen, and it's not like a serious competition, but it kind of reminds me of like a battle royale without minus the guns and with really weird physics and little tubby characters. So if you want like a kid-friendly battle royale that's just not serious at all and just about goofy fun times, you'll probably like this. I mean, none of that is in my wheelhouse, but if it's in your wheelhouse, you might like it.
But and I know I already spent too long talking about it, but I will say this, because all that is correct, and I think if you're looking for that, what you just said is true. You will have a fun time with it. It's definitely, like you said, you've had a few drinks, you're with friends online, you just want to like get in there and muck about. It's similar to Gang Beasts, right?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to mention that as well. It is like a 60-player version of Gang Beasts, if anybody remembers that one that came out a couple years ago. Weird physics, you throw your friends around, you grab things. It's just same kind of blocky, simple characters. Very similar to like a larger scale Gang Beasts.
But similar to that and Human Fall Flat, which I liked as well. Both of those had moments of like, well, I didn't mean to do that. Right. And that's what happens. Like sometimes you're like, well, I didn't even mean to grab onto that thing and oh, I'm dead. So yeah, again, Nippon Marathon's better if you're going in for this type of game. Unfortunately, it's not a 60-player game. I forgot how many players they did on.
I think it's 4, isn't it? Really,
it's 4 main in the main race, but they did do a multiplayer version on PS4, so I don't know if they beefed that up. But yeah, I think, and the last thing I'll say is this: even though you go in and say, I want to play a Gang Beast game with 60 players, you start finding yourself being competitive, though. And you're like, then that's how you get yourself mad. Because I was like, okay, I'm not going to care. It's just going to be fun. But then I was like, I'm in the top 20. You know, then your battle royale mind starts kicking in. You're like, all right, I can make it to this crown. And then when you don't, based on a fucking bullshit physics
something weird happens, it like control's taken out of your hands.
Yes, and then you rage quit, and that's what happened to me. Yeah. I was like, oh, cool, I was pretty close to the crown. I didn't get it because of some dumb thing. I'm out.
Yes, I totally agree. I understand that feeling, and I don't like to play games where that kind of control is taken out of your hands. Like if I fuck up, if I don't win, I want to clearly understand why I didn't win, and even if it's my fault, that's fine. I just want to know what happened. But in this kind of game, it seems like just rando, pretty rando.
Yeah, I think that's going to be this game's undoing. You heard it here on the So Video Games podcast, because that is the literal crevice, little crux of whatever. I can't say the metaphor. It is the pin in the pigeon. It's the
pin in the pigeon.
It's the. Now I'm just making them up.
That's pretty good though.
It's the hair on the horse. It's the it's the needle in the needle stack. It essentially is, you feel like you're close to a battle royale at some point. You're like, oh, I'm going to get good at this game. No, I'm not. I'm fucked. So
yeah, there you go. That is Fall Guys. The skill of playing Fall Guys is just an illusion. Don't be fooled.
Play Nippon Marathon. Nippon Marathon. Brad doesn't know what he's talking about.
Don't play that. That's a trash game. Anyway, moving on. A couple games left before we wrap up the show. This epic episode.
18 hours.
Giving a shout out to a brand new game that just came out on Switch called Volta-X, Volta-X. This comes to us from Gung Ho America Online. I actually am big fans of their work. I like a lot of their games. Let It Die was probably the biggest one from them that I loved. I played so much Let It Die. Such a good game. But Volta-X, playing it on the Switch, what this is imagine yourself as the Voltron team. You are inside a giant mech suit, giant robot. Your team is made up of 3 little animals, like dressed up in clothes, like anthropomorphic animals. Like there's an elephant, a monkey, I think there's a tiger. There's all sorts of little animals. So there's no humans in this game. It's just little animals that pilot giant robot mech suits. And what happens is you live in a world where competitive mech battles is a thing, and also kaiju monsters are also a thing. So you put together a team of animals, and they give you your starter mech suit. And then you start competing. You can change pieces on the mech suit. You can give it... there's like 4 or 5 different types of mechs. There's like your standard like Mazinger Z robot. Then there's like an octopus-style robot. There's like one that's more of a tank treads robot. There's a couple of the ones I haven't seen yet. So there's like 4 or 5 different body types. And each one has different pros and cons. And each one has different like abilities. But you can change all of the different weapons on the robot. So the one that I'm rocking right now is I have... a monkey, I think it's a rabbit, and an elephant are my pilots. And the robot has 2 giant drills instead of fists. It's got like a laser gun on one shoulder. It's got a radar on the other shoulder. Got a cannon in the chest, and it's got like a healing station or a generator in the stomach of it. So you can change different parts on it. And once you put your mech together and go into battle, it is a very like pulled back 3/4 isometric view, and it's kind of like a lot of cooldowns. So you're like looking at a menu where you can see the different abilities of your mech, and whenever one activates, you can trigger it off whenever you want to. You can also move your pilots around inside the mech. So for example, if you have the monkey inside the fist of the robot, the monkey's really good at melee piloting, so he will give like that fist like a ×2 multiplier. But if the monkey goes into the chest to pilot the cannon, he sucks at that. So it just does like base damage, like no multiplier. So you've got to like move your pilots around to like be most effective to pilot your mech. But also, you have to watch out because your pilots can take damage, and you don't want them to take too much damage. So sometimes you're moving them out of the place that's getting targeted. For example, if your enemy is targeting your fist, you move your pilot out of the fist so that they don't take hits when that fist gets damaged. So it's like you're juggling the movement of your pilots inside the robot at the very same time that you are attacking an enemy robot. So you're kind of juggling like 2 or 3 things at once all the time. The art style on this game is fantastic. I love the art style. It is very bright, bold, clean, colorful. The robots look great. I think the animals also look great. It's got a very clear sense of progression where you know exactly how far you have to get before you unlock new parts and how far you have to get to unlock new story. Everything is out there on Front Street. Like there's no mystery about it, which I think is great. Lets you kind of go at your own pace and just decide what you want to do, which is wonderful. A surprising amount of story in this game. It's not super deep story, but there's like a lot of conversations that you can engage in if you wish to. And I was kind of surprised at how much effort they're putting into the characters. So I think altogether, this is a really interesting package. Have you ever played Bomber Crew, Carlos? You ever play that game?
No.
This is very similar to Bomber Crew, and that's also on the Switch, which is also a game that I really like a lot, where you play as like a B-52 bomber in World War II, and you can move your pilots inside the bomber, like between the gunning station and between the engine and between the fire extinguisher, and like you're kind of flying the plane and also moving the characters at the same time. Very similar feel. Also similar to like Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time. I'm sure you probably played that one, right?
Okay, I get it now.
So you see the big thing, you see the big robot, but you also see the inside of the robot, and you can move your characters around at the same time. So you're definitely got 2 things going at once. But you also have the customization. Your animals have skill trees. There's different parts to unlock, and you also have base building, very similar to XCOM. When you get back between battles, you can choose to like build this underground base with different like activities and different like science rooms and different stuff in there. Very, very interesting. And also, this game has a very strong PvP component. Now, I'm only playing in solo mode. You can totally play it solo.
Wait, it's not a free-to-play game.
It is not free to play.
Okay.
But you can play the whole thing solo. You do not have to play PvP, but they really, really, really want you to. So in every battle, in order to progress the story or to unlock stuff or whatever, you can choose to do solo or PvP. I think it just came out today, so I haven't seen a lot of people online, but there's always the option to jump on, and then you can take your mech online to battle other people's mechs in real time to see how you do. I may give that a shot later on. Not generally a PvP guy, but I'll give it a shot. But I do like the fact that you can play the whole game in solo mode, which is probably what I'm going to be doing most of the time. So I really like this game a lot. I think it's really interesting. It's very different. It's a good fit for the Switch. I feel like it feels very good on the Switch. And I like this kind of game where you're like managing pilots inside of something bigger, like Dangerous Space Time, Bomber Crew, Volta-X. There's a couple other games where you kind of do the same thing of like managing your crew. I really like this a lot. I think it's really, really well put together. Having a lot of fun with it. I just started it last night, and I'm just like, I'm digging into it. I'm just eating it right up.
And it has a story mode, right? So it's like there's an ending to it?
Yeah, there is definitely a very clear campaign. There is an ending. You can also play it infinitely, just do the PvP and stuff if you want to. But yeah, there is a beginning, middle, and an end. When you get to the end, fight some kaiju, unlock everybody's story, recruit all the characters. There is a finish line.
So, okay, one, I looked it up, and the art is fantastic. It's a beautiful looking game. Secondly, it reminds me, though, of why I didn't like Disintegration. If you're not familiar and haven't listened to
Disintegration? Oh, that's the one, the hover cycle game?
No, the one where you're like above the action. It's like that free-to-play game. I think it was free-to-play. Where you like above the action and you like manage the units below you.
Yeah, the hover cycle game. You're on the hover cycle and your robots are below you. And it was made by the guys that used to make Halo, right? Is that what you're talking about? Everybody's a robot? Yeah.
Yeah, but I always felt like I was just like so far above the action, and I just didn't like that idea.
Same.
So it doesn't have that same kind of feel, though, does it?
Oh, no, not at all. No, like, because the way it's shown on the screen, like the top part of the screen on the Switch is showing the two robots facing off, and you can target like different parts of the enemy robot. Like for example, if the robot has a flamethrower, flames like fuck your robot up. Like if shit gets set on fire inside your robot, you're in big trouble. So like if you fight one of those robots, you can be like, oh shit, I want to target his flamethrower first. You can like target different pieces of the robot, whichever you want. But at the same time, you have an interior view, and you can see your guys up close. You can see, oh, I've got the monkey in the fist, and I've got the elephant in the chest, and the rabbit's over there in the shoulder, and you can see like all this stuff at the same time. So you're into it. Like you're looking at a lot of things. You don't feel like you're detached from the combat in the same way that you did in Disintegration. That felt like you were just pointing at little pixels and clicking on things that didn't matter. This feels like there's a lot of stuff going on. You feel like you're in the thick of it for sure.
Okay, because I saw an image that showed like from inside the mech essentially, and like you said, all the little people doing things, and I just thought like that's the whole game. But I mean, is that the main screen that you're looking at? Like,
yeah, I mean, you're always moving guys around. So like when you're back at your base, there's like a bunch of rooms that you're moving people around in. When you're inside the mech, you're moving the animals around from the different mech parts. I mean, there's never like a third person action view. Like it's always menu based, or you're clicking options on a cooldown menu. So you don't have to have any reflexes. You don't have to have like, this is not a like action game. Like it's about menu management and time management and character management.
Right. It reminds me of Fallout Shelter.
It's very similar to Fallout Shelter when you get to the base building. There's a lot that's in common with that. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, I might check it out. I might check it out on the Switch. Every single game we talked about on this episode has been a weird genre mix.
That is absolutely true. And I think that we may continue that streak with the last game that we're going to talk about. You have played it. I have not. The Avengers beta coming from Square Enix. A lot of people had a lot of question marks about this game. And most of it was like, what the fuck is this game? But now that the beta is out, people are pre-ordering. I've heard some people talk about it. And Carlos, you have played the beta. I assume that's why you brought it to the show?
Yeah. You know me. I'm a guinea pig, so...
You jumped in. I told you straight up I was not going to spend any money on this until I knew if it was any good. So tell us about the Avengers beta.
Yeah, I mean, just so everybody knows what I sacrificed for the show. I just dropped money on this motherfucker. I just dropped pre-order money, and I didn't even know if I would like it. I did it for the show. I took it for the team. I saw enough of it that thought I might enjoy being an Avenger, being upgraded character, doing kind of a not free to play. I was going to say free to play, but an online type of action game like this. So I took the plunge, got the beta. It was for a few days, and now I own the game when it comes out. So even if whatever my review is, I still own it.
Oh, is the beta closed already? You can't keep playing it? It was just a limited time thing?
Yeah, it was like a weekend, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of
thing.
So I did play a lot of it, though. I mean, I played a poop ton. And here's my review, I guess. So, you've probably seen the demo going around YouTube. A lot of the early level was shown off by many times now, where you get to basically play all the characters of the Avengers once and see what their moves are and abilities, so you can see who you'll want to be later on, right? So there's the Hulk, there's Black Widow, there's Iron Man, there's Captain America, there's Thor, and there's also Captain Marvel. Is that right?
Yeah, that's no, she's not in the. I mean, she's in the Marvel universe. I don't know if she's not in the Avengers. Maybe she's not.
No, but the idea is that you play as a girl also who went to go meet the Avengers, kind of like for a fan fest, like a Comic-Con, and then she, which they don't tell you in the beta, somehow gets powers, and then she's the one to also be a playable character. Can you look that up for me while I'm talking?
I will. All right, I'm
pretty sure it's Captain Marvel.
I will see when I can find it. Keep going.
She's got stretchy arms.
Oh yeah, that's Captain Marvel. She's Middle Eastern, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that is another Captain Marvel. Yeah.
Okay.
I know who you're talking about. Kamala Khan.
Kamala, that's right. Thank you. So she's also in it. So you can be all of them. And by the way, I had a lot of fun with her because her moveset was really, really fun. So the first level, again, seen it on YouTube probably. You play all the different characters, see what they're like. You're trying to, fight on this huge bridge that's crashing, and chaos ensues, and it's over. And at some point, you flash forward because the beta didn't really give you the story parts, and you kind of flash forward with Kamala and Bruce, aka the Hulk, and you're kind of walking through the forest talking about, Avengers and stuff, and it straight up is Last of Us.
What?
Because it's slow. It's like story based. This game has like, you know, a campaign, a single player stuff, a campaign. And fucking what's his butt is the voice of Bruce Banner / the Hulk. The main guy.
Idea. Joel? From
Yeah.
The Last of Us?
Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
My biggest thing, I went on Twitter or whatever, like, okay, dude, you seem like a nice guy. Stop being in every video game.
Is it Nolan North or is it the other guy?
No, the Joel, right? Joel.
What is his name? I don't know what his name is. I'll look it up.
You're looking up two things now for me. It's like, get somebody else, man.
Troy Baker? Was it
Troy Baker?
Troy
Why
Baker.
did we say Joel? Yeah. Troy Baker's in every fucking game. So, and also now I just hear Troy Baker. Like I can't hear Bruce
Anybody
Banner,
else,
the
right?
Bulk.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you do that kind of mission where it's really interesting. You're like, okay, this is slow, and I'm kind of like playing The Last of Us. And then you get back into more of like action scenes, and you can play Kamala again, and that's like your main character. So there's a story here. There's action. The combat feels really good, so I'll give them that. It feels pretty damn fun. It's a double-edged sword with the action. It's light attack, strong attack, dodge, special move. Light attack, strong attack, dodge, special move. Every character feels essentially the same in that way. So the special moves are different for each character, obviously, but it doesn't really feel like your strategy changes at all. You're just like run, jump, dodge, strong attack, light attack. So that's it, right? So it's not very deep, but it also feels kind of fun.
Is there like a skill tree where you can get different abilities? Because that sounds like it would get old in a hurry.
There is, and for each one, you know, they're a little bit different. I didn't really feel like I was progressing too much, even with upgrading stuff. It was just more like different button combos. You know how it does that? Like,
okay, sure.
Now you can hit triangle 4 times. So that was kind of getting stale. And then secondly, and the most important part of this whole review, is that when you pick up any loot, and this whole game is supposedly a game that you're going to play for 10 years, Marvel says.
Sure we will.
You will get loot. Like there's, you know, these missions, there's main campaign missions, there's side missions. Any game like you would think like this, third-person action game that's online, you're going to want to do a bunch of quests. So you're doing quests. The enemies kind of right from the get-go feel bullet spongy, which I hate. And you open a bunch of chests. And the biggest problem, Mr. Brad Galloway, is that every single thing you pick up doesn't change your appearance.
Oh no cosmetic stuff?
Not at all. The only cosmetic right now currently is if you pay for it.
That's no good. Is that like a Marvel licensing thing? You can't make the superheroes look goofy?
I think they said something like early on we wanted to make sure that all the people knew that they were playing the Hulk, and if you put too much gear on him, it wouldn't look like the Hulk anymore.
Dude's 14 feet in green. I could probably pick him out of crowd.
Right, and Kamala has her like crazy stretchy arms. I know who that is. It's absolutely bullshit, and it's actually soul wrenching. I can't say words. It hurts to pick up 1 million loot items in a game like this, and then have none of them.
That sucks, dude. That's like half the fun of loot games in general is looking at the shit on your guy.
Yep. So it's like my review stops there, and I don't even know how to talk about it anymore because the pros are action feels pretty darn good, especially for a game like this, and you know it's online and doing tons of missions, and I didn't feel any like slowdown, and it felt fluid, and the combat was pretty fun. Hulk though felt a little floaty, and back to my earlier point of like all the Avengers feel the same. It's not like he had like a lot of weight to him. He just felt like he could jump higher, and he also didn't feel like he could hit too much harder because the enemies are bullet spongy. So right, you're Hulk and you're hitting like one guy 4 times. You're like, no, that doesn't make sense.
Ah, man.
So I think there's a lot of mixed feelings I have for this, where at times I'm excited to like I really realized I like Black Widow the most from the moveset, where she's a really dodge heavy and, you know, picks up people by their head with her feet. And I really liked her moveset. And so I could see myself like leveling her up, like an AKA RPG, and like really going down her skill tree and like having a badass Black Widow who like I go through a bunch of missions with. But the lack of the lack of the moveset being that much different, and most importantly, anything that I pick up doesn't really feel like an upgrade. Yeah, it goes to my power level, but I don't really feel like that makes a difference somehow.
Oh man, I was not sold on this game to start with, and hearing you talk about it, I already feel a little bit bored just hearing you talk about it. I mean, I'll check it out, sure. I think I'm really just gonna like gamefly this or something, because I mean, maybe, a beta is early. Maybe there's more stuff to come. I'm sure you didn't get the whole schmear when you just dip in for a beta. I'm sure there's more features you didn't get access to. And, as they said, there's going to be decade of content to come. But, like, hearing the bones of it, like you're describing, is already making me a little bit sketchy on this. So I'm definitely not going to pony up for this. I'll gamefly it, or maybe I'll wait till it drops or something. But I don't know about this, man. I don't know. And on top of that, I don't need a game to be married to for the next 10 years, all right? Like, I don't need to do that, so...
Also, calm down, Square Enix. Come on.
Seriously.
I think, and these games are hard enough to do to get people to buy in for a year, so that's just really pie in the sky ideas. But I would say this, two other things. One, of course, I'm already bought in, so, like, I'm the guinea pig.
You got your money already, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I'll be playing it, and I'll try to level up my Black Widow, and I'll bring it back to the show, okay, later. But I will say the last thing is, this is the developers, whoever's listening, like in our epic 3-hour show at the very end, just when you're doing these missions, you can make the enemies less bullet spongy and just make more enemies, right? It makes you feel better and more badass. If I'm taking out, like, let's say AK Dynasty Warriors, if I'm taking out a ton of robots or little peons, then I feel badass, and I don't feel like, oh yeah, it's a lot of them, but I get it, that's this type of game. But if I'm hitting one person 6 times, then I feel like I'm not a badass. Okay? So that's strike 1. Strike 2, if you're building these little side missions, and you got to build 1 million of them because we're going to be here for 10 years, in your little side missions, don't make it like turn lever. Oh, wait, more enemies show up.
Oh,
turn
Jesus,
lever.
dude. Oh, my God.
That happened. It happened all the time, but that happened at least...
I just about fell over hearing you say that, because I just, like, all the enthusiasm just, like, shot out of me like a rocket.
I'm
like,
literally killing any sort of excitement for you.
Yes.
So
and I didn't have much.
I know. But these are constructive things, because they can fix both those things in development. One, make enemies just go down with a couple hits and just make more enemies. Okay? There you go. Fix that problem. Second problem, don't make it where you have to hit a lever and more enemies come in. Just go to a different part of the dungeon or something. Like, it's just mind sucking. Nope, that's not it either. Soul crushing. That's what I meant. Pin in the pin stack. It's soul crushing to hit enemies 1 million times and then hit a lever and have more enemies show up. So,
did you say pin in a pigeon earlier? Is that the one you said? Pin
I don't know what I'm saying.
That was a good one. I'm going to go back and hear that, because I like that one.
You're not going to go back and hear that. You don't listen to the episodes.
I'm going to go back and listen to the pin in the pigeon. This sounds like it's not great. It sounds like they are maybe shooting themselves in the foot by saying they're planning for this to be a decade-long experience. And just like in our 10-minute conversation here, I have already gotten bored and wanted to move on. So
let's move on then.
I have very serious doubts about the Avengers beta, so we shall see.
And I paid the money, so I'm coming back and playing my Black Widow character, so you'll see.
Exactly. All right. Well, folks, we had a couple little other bits. I think we should save them. This episode is monstrous long. Let's just call it here. We've covered every game under the sun. I'll save the other stuff for next episode. No big deal. Thank you, folks, for listening. I hope that you have enjoyed the show. We have covered such a wide array. I think this may even be our record for the most titles covered in an episode, possibly. I'm going to go back and count.
Well, and also the most genres.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wide, diverse. It's great to see all these experimental things and all these things that people are trying, even if some of these things have not been successful, but at least we're having these different experiences and talking about them here on the show. And as for this show, that is it. Thank you all for listening. Wrapping it up here. Before we go, as always, we'd love to get your questions and comments. SoVideoGamesPodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter @SoVideoGames. But you can hit us up individually sometimes. Carlos, are you reachable?
Yeah, I've been more on Twitter again.
Okay.
But also, so Twitter's ONAWA. Also, YouTube.com/a lot of things. Sometimes I put things up there.
All right, sounds good. Wonderful, wonderful. As for me, same as it always is on Twitter, on Instagram, BradGallaway, all A's, no O's. And that's going to do it for this epic, overstuffed episode 193. Thank you again for joining us here on the Video Games podcast, and we will be back before you know it. Maybe not with this many games, but with a lot of games. In the meantime, this is Bye from Brad.
And this is where I don't say bye at all, and I always say something weird, but this is kind of like those EGM episodes where it's like really big.
Really big.
Electronic Gaming Monthly episodes.
Really big. Absolutely.
And secondly, the next episode is going to be our free episode. So if you listen to the very end here, the free episode's coming next. Right, Brad?
That is correct.
Yeah. Anyways, then also bye.